Did you know that the Ashland Fire Division has a residential Knox Box program? I think it's a great community resource, and today I'm joined with Captain Miller from the Ashland Fire Division. We are today at Station 1. So thanks for having me today. I appreciate you answering some questions.
Welcome.
So maybe you could just tell us a little bit about what the Knox Box program is.
So the City of Ashland Division of Fire has had a residential Knox Box program for several years now. It's a combination of some funding through the Community Foundation and through the city budget that allows us to purchase these devices that we can provide to residents of the City of Ashland or Milton and Montgomery townships that allow us to access your home in case there's an emergency that you're not able to open the door. These are kind of targeted towards folks that maybe are elderly or at risk but still at home, or if you think of a scenario where there might be a fall in the house or a medical emergency that they can't get to the door, but they're able to call 911. When our paramedics and firefighters respond, they're able to access this device, which hangs on your front door and contains your house key. So we provide these at no cost to any residents. It's all funded separately. So we just retain ownership. So if someone moves or decides they no longer need it, we just come back and uninstall the box.
So that's the situation that I was in. I had a condo that I just sold recently, and it had the Knox Box on the door. And so the owner of the property asked me to get a hold of the fire division to come take it off of the house. So that he was the property owner. Do you do this for maybe elderly or mobility issue people that are renting property?
We do. So it's not specifically for an owner. It could be an apartment. There's very minimal damage, if there's any damage at all. There's two small screws that help us secure these to the top of the door frame, and most doors that causes very little damage. So
And the house that I had, the condo that I had, they were screwed in, and the firefighter did come and unscrew it right from the top. So it was perfect to work out that way. So you do cover Ashland City, Milton, and Montgomery townships. I do know other townships in the area have this program as well. So the Knox Box program website, and they indicated that they're in over 13,000 fire divisions or
many, all across the United States. All across Ohio. The way that it works, though, specifically is each jurisdiction, so the City of Ashland has a specific key for Ashland. So an Ashland key will only open Ashland fire boxes.
Okay.
Our key won't work in Mansfield or Worcester or any other jurisdictions other than Ashland. So it's very specific to Ashland.
Okay. And we'll put a small video and photo of what the inside of the box looks like, but there is a little hook in there for the key to go on.
There is.
There is not a whole lot more room for anything else in there.
No.
But you have had great success with it, with the EMS and firefighters being able to access properties in emergencies.
We use these almost daily.
Really?
For a note gets added to the dispatch information at WorkHog or the Sheriff's Office Dispatch Center, so that we know if an address has a Knox Box.
Okay.
When we do the intake, when someone calls and says that they want one, there's paperwork that goes along with it that we fill out, but all of that is kind of the paper trail for tracking it, for also notifying dispatch so that we know that there's a box on your house if you call. It's a lot of science behind it too.
Sure. And the one thing that a misconception that I think folks might have is, can they, as real estate agents, we have electronic lock boxes that we use for our properties, and we're able to issue what are called one-day codes for other agents that don't have access to those boxes. This is not something that the homeowner says, hey, I'm going to be out of town, can you give me a code for my relative to come in and drop the mail?
Right.
This is very specific, that there's one specific key that will open that, and you can we cannot hand out codes, or you cannot, there's nothing like that, because there is just the one key.
There's no other agencies other than the fire department that have access to the Knox boxes. We've gotten the question before that could the police department have access to the key? And to simplify kind of peace of mind for people, and not everyone wants the police to access their home for whatever reason, or just an individual privacy concern. Or so the fire department is the only ones with the keys to any of the Knox boxes, so residential and commercial.
Okay, and so there is a commercial version, and so if you could briefly touch on the commercial one.
The commercial versions are a little bigger.
Here, I can hold that while you grab
I'll have you.
Oh, that's
hold
heavier
that
than I
one.
thought. Okay.
It is. So our commercial versions, these are required on properties that have a sprinkler system that are not occupied 24 hours a day. So if a sprinkler system goes off in the middle of the night, or there's a fire or an emergency, we can access this box on a commercial building instead of breaking your door down. So it minimizes the damage, it speeds up entry for our firefighters. But a commercial box is a little bigger, a lot heavier, and a different mounting system altogether. So these can be mounted, permanently, and they would be a little more difficult to put on a door frame, where our residential boxes are specifically made, for door frames. So ease of access.
I would say this is probably 5 to 8 pounds. Would you consider that?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah,
Okay.
and our commercial boxes, these are super heavy duty steel to resist things like a cutting attack or a forced entry into it. This is probably about a 20-pound box if you give
well,
that
you
a
could do
feel.
some curls with this
You
one.
could, yeah. So we do not provide these for businesses. Businesses have to purchase them.
Okay.
Different than our residential boxes, which we completely provide.
And I did, when I was doing some research on these are a little over $300 for the basic version. They have two
The cost
versions.
has gone up. Yeah, we try to get the nicest version.
Okay, so the nicer version, that was closer to $600 that I saw.
Yeah, the commercial boxes are very expensive too, but a lot of security. Things like the type of key that goes into it, the security of the key cylinders themselves. These are unpickable locks, or very difficult.
And
to
did you say at the
access.
beginning how many of these we have in circulation?
Well, we've been ordering these in groups of maybe 150 to 200 for probably the last 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
So I'd have to make a real close guess to say we probably are getting close to 400 or 500 of these.
Okay, in
our
circulation right now.
system. Yeah.
Okay, and I will let you put this on
Sure.
the door because I don't know that I can quite reach it up there.
So access for a residential property is really easy. Any exterior door, so a door, your front door is one that's genuinely picked, but we can also do side doors.
Because I'm assuming in the notes in the application, you'll indicate where that is so the firefighters can go right to that door.
Yeah, and it just has to be something that's not like a screen door. We can't put this on. It has to be a standard size door.
Okay. And steel, or it doesn't matter what type of door?
Doesn't really matter because
Okay.
how it goes on, it's kind of like the wreath hanger design. And it just would go on the top of the door frame, and then 2 small screws in the top, and you can place the key inside of it, and then it's locked up with our key. So really quick and easy. And then uninstalling, we take the screws out and we can remove the box. There's some nice cork on here that won't damage the finish on your door, and it doesn't bounce around when you open the door. That's a little bit of the reason for the screws too. So it just helps secure the Knox box.
Okay, so basically maybe elderly folks, people with mobility issues, can it be on a temporary basis? Let's say somebody's having their knees replaced and they just can't get, can it be for a short term, like a couple weeks?
Yeah, short term. We've seen that before with people who have injuries like you're describing, or a surgical procedure where, hey, I'm going to be at home for the next 2 months, and I'm worried about being able to get up and let someone in if I need help.
Right.
So perfect scenario for that.
Any other misconceptions that people have about the Knox box?
Probably they're just surprised that we provide them.
Sure.
It's something that the city's been supportive of. Again, we fund some of this through the fire department's budget and some of this through grant money. So when there isn't grant money, it's more of the fire department's budget that pays for this. But you don't want to be stuck in your house,
Right.
and we have to break down the door.
Right.
doors are like anything else, getting more and more expensive. And I would say you could guess an average door repair, because the way we force entry can vary, but it could be as simple as, a hydraulic tool that forces your door open, and it might cause damage to the door framing itself. It might cause damage to the door. Probably a minimum of $1,000 to replace your door. So a free box that we can get in a couple of seconds versus breaking down the door. So good trade-off.
I'm going to brag on the Ashland Fire Division for a second. How many calls did you guys go on last year?
We're averaging about 4,600 to 4,800 calls, and that's
both
fire and EMS, both stations combined, somewhere in that general area.
Okay.
But it's an average of, say, close to 20 calls a day.
20 calls a day. And I tell you guys, you have the nicest folks here.
Oh, good.
They're so nice and very much appreciated. We love the fire division. So thanks to Captain Miller today. If you have any other questions, I will put a phone number for the fire division where you can call and get information, and also a link to their website. But feel free to reach out if you're interested in this residential Knox Box program. But thanks again to Captain Miller. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you.